What's your strongest memory of 9/11?
I think my strongest memory of 9/11 is probably coming out of the school when my mom first picked me up, and she pointed up at the towers and she said, "I need you to look at this because it's history." I don't even think I had any sense of what history really even meant, but it has really held true since that day.
My strongest memory is actually probably hearing the first plane hit the tower and the room shaking. Literally, that's how close we were. It gives me chills to this day thinking about that very first moment when this all started.
Fast forward 20 years. That vivid impression from 9/11, does it impact your thinking today or sounds around you today?
I think that it's been a long time now, and I think I don't have the same nightmares as I used to have.
You had nightmares?
Oh, sure. Yeah, this haunted us. This was a really traumatic, very, very scary, life-changing moment.
It's September 11th, 2001.
Teacher Pat Carney's classroom was just 4 blocks from the World Trade Towers. And what was going through your mind 20 years ago, the day of the terrorist attacks?
Well, initially there was just confusion because it was not clear to us in the school building what had happened. It was not actually clear to me what had happened until I was actually out on the street. But parents started streaming in to get their kids. So we knew something was wrong.
You were teaching 4th graders. How did they react?
They didn't have any reaction because it wasn't clear to them that there was anything going on. So I told them that there was a little fire down the block and that we were going to have to go to the gym because the principal had announced it on the loudspeaker. The kids were confused but not scared.
Is that because of you? You helped them to remain calm?
Well, I think all teachers do that. I mean, I think that's really their job. I mean, kids react to reality and what's happening in the world, but they really do take a lot of their cues from the adults.
Pat was the best. She is an amazing teacher, and our experience with her was so brought us all so close. We couldn't be back in our school for 5 months after 9/11, and Pat kept our education going and kept our community going.
Pat was the center, like the leader. She has such a fine ability as a teacher. She was like a mama, you know. She was like our mom. This was like a big family. It was such a unifying, really scary time, and she really encouraged us to be focused and to, just not let this weigh us down. And, she really was a great teacher.
Did you have school in the days following 9/11?
Pretty quickly thereafter, we went to PS 41, which is a school close by. We had 750 children, I think. They had 750 children, and they squeezed us in. It was the part that was the most touching to me about 9/11 in general is how people got together and helped each other. So we started teaching pretty soon after the event.
Why was that so important to do that?
And I mean, it was scary. I think that it was also important for the kids to get back to some kind of regular routine. They had been out of school for a week. Many of them lived down there and had to relocate. Many of them had seen what happened. They were scared. And I think as much as we could provide a normal day for them, that's what we tried to do.
Do you think that 9/11 in some ways defined the life that you lead now?
I think you can draw a straight line between the job I'm doing now and my experience on 9/11. And so I think my entire existence now, as an almost 30-year-old woman, comes from the experience I had as an 8-year-old girl here on 9/11.
I think when it gets down to it, it has absolutely affected probably my humanity and my life and how I treat other people, hopefully. Yeah, I think it has. Yeah, I think you're right. I think 9/11 really was that kind of
Catalyst.
Yeah, it was a catalyst for living life to the fullest. And I don't know. It's also a really heavy memory too. You know, it can be really like sad sometimes to think about it. And I think when you walk through the current park and the memorial and the fountains right there, I think there's always going to be a really solemn, very kind of sacred ground you're walking on. It's a very special place within the city now.
The National Geographic, Kids Edition. And there you are.
Yes. That's Hannah Moch, and that's Ian Sinclair. Kids were happy for the attention. A lot of attention from all over the world.
Yeah.
I was happy for it too.
Yeah. The students have moved on, and so have you. You're not in the classroom anymore. Now you're the principal. How has 9/11 informed how you act as a principal?
9/11 has had a real influence in the kind of leader I want to be. You know, I can't fall apart or get emotional about everything that's going on. I have to move us forward step by step.
Ian, 10 years ago, I asked, after 10 years, have you had closure around this? Your answer then was no.
Yeah.
Is that still the answer?
I think I would answer a little differently today. I feel like this city is growing and evolving, and we as people who went through this, we're getting older, and I think for those of us here, we're gonna remember this our whole lives. But you know what? There's a whole new generation, these Gen Z kids, they don't know this event at all. We're just literally right now sitting across from our school. All those people that were there, we have that memory, but you know, as time goes on, it's not going to be as within the zeitgeist, within the popular culture. It's not going to be as prominent. Other things are going to happen. They're going to really kind of take that center stage.
I have kept, in some ways intentionally, Lower Manhattan as a very big part of my life. And so in that way, it's still very ever present for me.
There's the hole and all the debris coming down. And it's something I didn't see, but something I had a vision of when someone said when we got off the subway in the West Village, and someone said to me, there was another explosion, and that's what I had in my mind. And we could see it from there, so we saw it.
I just think it's really important that we keep this story alive. I think that we can't let this kind of fall into forgotten history, especially for New York City children, but I think for children all over the country. I think I'm an extremely optimistic person. I think I always have been. And I think the experience of the world's reaction to us after is really what kept my optimism going, right? I think you see it after every tragedy. There's just an amazing community, particularly I like to think in New York City. I think that is ultimately what kept hope alive for all of us, really.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.